This is 6.1, part 7, the last problem in the section. I was a little sloppy when I drew the line through it, but I think you can still read it. We want to factor by grouping. The first thing we do is we look for a GCF. I have just a 3 here. No 3 goes in here. We don't have one, okay? Now, I have a minus sign in the middle that I'm going to need to take care of, yes, okay? But let's look at their groups first. Could I factor anything out of here? No. You always have the option of factoring out a 1, but nothing really, right? And the same thing here. So, and these groups are not the same, so unless we reorder, if we reorder, this might work. If we reorder, it might not work. But what we want to do is I'm going to switch these two terms. Okay, so I have x cubed y squared minus 3y squared. Now this is a minus 3, and I want a plus there, so I'm going to go ahead and change this to plus negative 3 plus x cubed. So what I've done is I've written this one here, and I wrote this one here, but as a plus negative 3 instead of a minus 3. Let's add your grouping symbols, because looking at the first one, I can factor out something at least. We'll see if it works. Here I have a y squared in both of them. That's the only thing I have in common. So factor out that y squared. And I get x cubed from here, and a minus 3 from here. Okay, plus. What can I factor out of here? Nothing really. If we were just asked to factor out the GCF, and there's not really one, the 1 is a GCF, but we would tend to say it's prime. When you're factoring by grouping, you always want to factor out something. So if the only thing you can factor out is a 1, factor out a 1. And I have negative 3 plus x cubed. Now, if you look, these two things are the same, right? X cubed minus 3 is the same thing as negative 3 plus x cubed. They're just switched in the order. So these are the same. So you can either do the rewriting step like we did on the previous problem, or you can just recognize they're the same, and when you go to write them down, write down the more standard form, which would be x cubed minus 3. I've written this, these are the same, I've written it down once. Now we want to make a set of parentheses out of what we have left. That would be y squared plus 1. Now technically, you could skip factoring out the 1, but then you would have to remember that that's there. You need it as a placeholder. It's much easier if you just go ahead and factor that out. Okay, so this is the end of 6.1.